Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Michelle Cook, and I am surrounded here today with people who care about Clay County, the Clay County Impact Train. As you know, for the past several years, we have hosted the Hammer and Hope event, where we as law enforcement go out and strategically fight drugs on the street. We have had such great success with that program. With that being said, I've also emphasized that we need a pathway for those who want to get out of poverty, want to get out of addiction, and who need help. For the first time this year, we have partnered with the Clay Impact Train. And with that being said, I'm going to introduce the CEO, Connie Thomas, who's going to introduce many of the people in the group and talk about what is planned for this Saturday's Hope Train.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I am Connie Thomas, President, CEO of Impact Clay, and I want to thank our sheriff. Sheriff Cook called me when the Impact Clay Train first began, and she said, if there's anything I can do to help behind the scenes, whatever you need, just let me know. And I've always been sincerely appreciative of that and her heart for our community. I also want to thank our entire Clay County Sheriff's Office. I want to thank Chief Herrera and our Clay County Fire and Rescue for their great support of the Impact Clay Train. Your partnership in making sure our community receives vital services where the need is so great is invaluable to us, so thank you all for that. The Impact Clay Train began in January 2024 due to severe transportation issues and the lack of internet resources in some of our Clay County households. The train brings collective mobile resources where the need is the greatest in our area. We arrive at 4 destinations that are rotated throughout the year. Our goal is to bring immediate hope and healing to every stop. We serve the whole person with a vast array of services from addiction and mental health needs to food, clothing, and benefit assistance. We intentionally make sure that our train guests leave with something tangible that has changed their life in a simple or often profound ways. I'm here today with our Impact Clay Director of Community Development, Brooke Davies, and our Director of Operations, Michelle Reeves, along with our vast community partners. Clay County Schools, Ascension St. Vincent's Clay, Emmanuel Project, Clay County Veteran Services, Clay Community Services, Clay County Libraries, Florida Department of Health, Salvation Army, the Way Free Medical Clinic, Mercy Support Services, the Springs Church, Kids First of Florida, Seeds of Love Outreach, Save to Serve, Clay Behavioral Health Center, Celebration Church, Food for Clay County, Dignity Impact Outreach, Clay County Paramedicine, Clay Radio, American Academy of Cosmetology, Waste Not, Want Not, Orange Park Lions Club, Northeast Florida AHEC, and Tobacco Free Florida. Now I'll turn it over to Brooke Davies, who oversees our train. Brooke.
Good afternoon. My name is Brooke Davies, and I am the Impact Clay Director of Community Development. We are gathered here to shine a light on something truly special happening right here in Clay County. As Connie mentioned, the Impact Clay Train is more than just a mobile outreach. It's a journey of hope, compassion, and community partnership. Since its launch in January 2024, it has traveled across the county to Keystone Heights, Middleburg, Clay Hill, Orange Park, and most recently, Green Cove Springs. We arrive the 3rd Saturday of each month, rotating these destinations, delivering critical services directly to our neighbors who need them most. Before we go any further, I invite you to take a look at the display boards or on your screen. These visuals tell an important part of our story, one that's best captured in the impact we've made together. Let's begin with the number of people we've served, 2,188. As you can see on the displays on your screen, since launching in January 2024, the Impact Clay Train has served over 2,100 residents throughout Clay County. These are individuals and families who may have lacked access to food, clothing, health care, or even a simple human connection. And each number here represents a life touched by hope. Now take a look at the next figure. Nearly 1,600 volunteers have been part of this movement. People from all across our community who have shown up time and time again to serve. It's a powerful reminder of how much Clay County cares for its own. Together, these volunteers have contributed more than 4,700 hours of service. That's thousands of moments spent lifting boxes, handing out supplies, setting up tents, offering smiles, listening, encouraging, and building trust in underserved neighborhoods. If we put a dollar amount on all the hours our volunteers have given, it adds up to more than $166,000. But honestly, you can't put a value on it. It's about dignity, it's about hope, and it's about showing up again and again for someone else. Each of these numbers tells a powerful story, a story of neighbors helping neighbors, of resources meeting real needs, and of hope delivered one stop at a time. But numbers alone don't capture the full picture. Behind every statistic is a name, a face, a life that has been touched in a meaningful way through this work. Today, we're honored to share a few of those real-life stories with you, stories that show what the Impact Clay Train looks like in action. First, I'd like to welcome Dr. Bonnie White from the Emmanuel Project, one of our valued train partners. She'll be sharing a remarkable transformation that took place thanks to the connections formed through one of our train stops. Following Dr. Bonnie, we'll hear from Crystal Tucker, a dedicated volunteer with Seeds of Love Outreach, which hosts our clothing car at each train stop. Crystal will share another powerful story, one that beautifully illustrates compassion in action through the Impact Clay Train's outreach. These are the moments that remind us why this work matters and why we keep going. Dr. Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Bonnie White with the Emmanuel Project, and I'm the medical director. And I have a great true story to tell you all. At one of our earliest Emmanuel Project clinics in Keystone Heights, we met Sylvia, a young mother of two very energetic children. She was struggling with addiction, experiencing financial trouble, and doing her best to care for her children with no stable support system. Over the next few months, she would stop by our mobile unit to say hi, ask questions about her kids, looking for some advice, and her boys became more and more comfortable with us. At a Clay Train event in Keystone Heights, she brought her boys to have their school physical exams. Our team engaged the boys, and we spoke to Sylvia. They received their physical exams, their school forms were filled out completely, and every question she had was answered with care. When she was ready to leave, she gave us a big smile. Her task was complete, and she felt seen, supported, and surrounded by people who cared, not only for her, but for her boys. We continued to see Sylvia and her boys at the Clay Train events. Her boys would make a beeline to our unit, looking for big hugs and pieces of candy. They always had a story to tell, and we sat and listened. She would sit on a chair and watch in awe as her boys played and became more and more comfortable with us, asking questions. It has been several months since we've seen Sylvia and her boys. However, last week, during our Emmanuel Project board meeting, a woman named Sylvia came up in a discussion. She had two boys and a 1-year-old girl. I heard that name. I looked across the table and said, "We know her." Once someone walks through our doors, they never leave our hearts. In the months since we saw her at Clay Train, she's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She is fighting a battle no one should fight alone. Initially, she reached out to the Alpha Omega Miracle Home, and through partnerships and an unwavering compassion, 2 loving families, both Emmanuel Project board member families, stepped forward. They opened their home and their hearts, welcoming her children and caring for them as she bravely undergoes her treatment. Our founder and his wife have now welcomed her children into their home. Recently, she stopped by to visit her kids and noticed our mobile unit, affectionately known as Emmy, parked in his front yard. She looked at the trailer and said, I recognize that. I've seen it before. Did it ever go to the clay train? With tears in her eyes, she whispered, I know them. I know Emmanuel Project. My boys know Emmanuel Project. They were seen many times at the clay train, and we remember the doctor that saw her, Dr. White. At that moment, as her name was spoken, everyone sitting around this table realized that Sylvia and her 2 boys had touched all our lives in different ways. Every week we touch, every life we touch, every place we go, every moment we offer compassion, we create a ripple of hope, a ripple of healing, and a lasting impact far beyond what we can see. This is more than a true story. This is what happens when compassion and community come together. This is healing. This is love. This is Emmanuel. And we are the clay train.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Crystal Tucker, and I am a volunteer at the Seeds of Love Outreach, and I'm here to share a short story that truly impacted a lot of our lives at the last Clay Impact train stop in May. We met a woman I'll call Wanda, and her story has stayed with me ever since. That Saturday morning, Wanda woke up hungry and in her old black truck, parked somewhere in Keystone Heights, with her loyal dog beside her. Someone had told her the mission of the Dirt Road Church occasionally provided food, so she drove there, arriving before anyone else. Sitting in the quiet, she began to pray, telling God she desperately needed him to show up. With limited resources, she and her dog were both hungry without options. Just as she was about to give up, someone had arrived at the church by chance. When Wanda asked where she might find help, the woman had told her to head straight to Impact Train at Keystone Heights High School, and so she did. Upon arrival, she went through registration and met with mental health counselors from Clay Behavioral Health, even scheduling a follow-up appointment. At the St. Vincent's booth, her dog received a collar, leash, a collapsible water bowl, and Wanda began to feel something that she hadn't felt in a long time: loved. Our team met Wanda when she stepped into the Seeds of Love Outreach Mobile Boutique, a converted 12-foot box truck filled with clothing and shoes for all ages. We instantly connected as she began sharing her experience so far. As we helped her pick out clothes, her emotions overcame her and she began to weep. She told us about the heartbreak she had endured. Her son was murdered 2 years ago, and the following year, she found her husband deceased while they were working together as a trucking team. In the aftermath, she lost her home and, overwhelmed with grief, turned to drugs. Now sober, she was living in her vehicle with her dog. That Saturday marked 50 days clean. Through tears and a bright smile, she told us it was also her late husband's birthday. We celebrated with her, asked her if we could pray over her. She replied through tears, "Yes, please, that would be wonderful." Our team surrounded her in love and prayed for strength, healing, and protection. Afterward, we walked with her through the rest of the event, connecting with her with medical care, loading up groceries, hygiene items, and other essentials from our partners. Volunteers cared for her dog, providing hot meals, and helped her carry items back to her vehicle. Before she left, we reminded her of our next stop on June 21st at Clay Hill Elementary. As we said goodbye, Wanda was crying again, this time tears of joy. She told us over and over how God truly shone up for her that day and that she would never forget the love she felt when she left. We think of Wanda often, and we continue to pray that she is safe, provided for, and that we will see her again. Another chance to walk alongside her and to remind her that she is not alone. Thank you.
It just reminds me that we always say that if we can impact even one life, it was all worth it. And we have done that several times over. And as these stories are so powerful, and people need this. They need this community. And quite frankly, we all love being with each other. So that really makes a difference by coming together and serving people. So this Saturday, we will be at Clay Hill Elementary from 10 to 12. And we invite the community to come out. We're going to be there ready to serve you. You will get one-on-one care. You will feel loved and treated very well, and we want you to leave there feeling better than when you walked in. And we're going to make sure of that. So come out and be with us on Saturday from 10 to 12 at Clay Hill Elementary. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Can you elaborate a little bit when we talk about the clay training goes to certain spots? You know, when people walk into the rooms, wherever it is, like what exactly are they going to be walking into? There's a couple different booths set up, inviting environment. What does that look like?
Good question. So we have a place where you just come check in. We don't ask you to sign anything, or we just want to know you're there and be able to give you a folder of community services or any kind of information we want to share with you about the area when you come to the train. And then we have mobile units that usually park in the bus loop at a school. And you'll find several mobile units out there for clothing and medical and several different things that are out there, the food. And but then the different organizations that don't have a mobile unit, then they are in the cafeteria. And so you will swing through the cafeteria and see those organizations there. One big thing you'll see in the cafeteria is haircuts. And haircuts is a very big thing. And it's beautiful that we can, have the kids come in and have their hair cut. But when you have a mom say that she hasn't had her hair cut for 4 to 7 years because she always made sure her kids had their hair cut first, it is a huge deal to have these mothers sit down and have their hair cut. So a lot of things going on in that area. We always invite people to even just come see what the train does. It's hard to explain it because you really don't understand the feel of it and what it's really all about until you come and visit it. So anybody who wants to know more about the train, I encourage you to come and see it.
A lot of people are also, I don't want to speak for everyone, it's a blanket statement, but I feel like there's a nervous factor when you walk in the music, or they're not sure if they want to do that. Maybe they don't want people to know that they're doing something like that.
Yeah.
What is your message to them if they're on the fence?
That we will care for you where you are. If you don't want people around, that's fine. We will let you do that. If you want people around and want us to help guide you through it, we are there to do it. We really, really meet people where they are and understand that they may not want to be seen or that kind of thing. All they have to do is when they come to the check-in desk, just come and tell, and feel free to say that to the people that you're checking in with and just say what your needs are. We have a lot of people who speak languages that they need interpretation and that kind of thing, so we have that as well at our train stop. So we just need to know the needs up front, and we will make sure it happens. Anything? Yes, ma'am.
Is there a way for, whether it's private citizens or even other local businesses that also want to volunteer and assist, whether it's with a specific location for the train, or if they want to do it continuous, what's the best way for them to be able to do that?
Yeah, well, they can always call Impact Clay, and we will make sure that they're signed up to volunteer, that's for sure, or get them hooked up with one of these train cars and make sure that they're have a place to volunteer. What I will warn you about is that once you come to the train, you get the train bug, and you're in for it. And I'll give a perfect example right back here. Our Orange Park Lions. They said, okay, well, we'll be there for, your Orange Park stop or whatever. Next thing I know, they're at every train, and then they're even at other things that happen with Seeds of Love and everything else. So you really do get the train bug once you come, so we invite you to come on. We'll put you somewhere. So, anything else?